judge of all humankind throughout the whole world, will give each and every human being what they deserve. This we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, indeed, Bishop Whitaker. Council, if we're ready with this morning's witness, we may proceed, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, and members of the audience. We are ready to proceed with this morning's witness, and may I ask that the witness be brought in, please.
Thank you.
I, Lamin A.M.S. Jobate.
I, Lamin A.M.S. Jobate.
Do swear.
Do swear that.
I'll speak the truth.
I'll speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Good morning, Mr. Jobate.
Good morning.
Welcome to the TRC.
Thank you.
Mr. Jobate, we normally interpose interpretation in one of the local languages. Of course, we know you're very proficient in the English language, but in spite of that, we would want to interpose interpretation, perhaps in the Mandinka language, so that people listening at home may be able to follow the proceedings in at least one of the local languages. So in that case, I'd advise that you first listen to the interpretation before you respond to questions asked. Interpreters, are you with us? Yeah. All right, so Mr. Jobate, may I read you a few rights? You're very familiar with these things, but nonetheless, it behoves me to bring them out. The first is you have a right not to incriminate yourself.
Council come and volum indiko sedo tumalame ne kalota imui kanyantol di puri kanifan diamo kono.
I raise this issue because you have been adversely mentioned.
Niaja ngayin kumam fo volum indiko ito fota janne.
In at least two important areas.
Membida fo kuma fulato.
And you had been served with a notice of adversely mention.
Later o detail kaitandila ko ito fota janne.
But even though you have a right not to incriminate yourself,
hani wo nyaawnya yenyanto soto nyaawnya pour ikane fan dum diamo kono.
You do not have a right to provide false information to the commission.
bari hanin kabi wo nya kilimo nya fana ima nyanto soto pour ka kuma soto balo fo commission o nyaati lunga
It is also an offense to lie on the oath in this country.
hanin kabi fana nyimbankun kanjang luwati nyalem to malame ne kalota ibina ila sede andro dida ina na kumo fo me alon ko amanke to nyaati
I am sure you understand this.
jikita nyinne
Yes, I do.
fahamle
ha nga fahamle
You should wait for the interpretation before you respond.
Very well.
There is this natural tendency to just respond as soon as you hear my question in the English language, but allow for the interpretation before you respond. Mr. Jobate, you were called here principally on two important issues.
Mr. Jabata yekumande jang kukuma fulale la kuota
One is the alleged torture
killing wala mnyiti tumirola me alon ko wala late kan tajireya
of people arrested as part of the attack, unlawful attack on Farafenye barracks and the murder of Gambian soldiers.
molla men yalon ko ye wolle luanta iya kan iboytan na sojar kampo kan farafenye andung sojar oldol nata na faje
These would be Balo Kante,
do kono wala mbalo kante
Omar Juf Damfa,
Omar Diouf Damfa
Yaya Drame,
Drame
Suleiman Sarr,
Suleiman Sar
and Esa Balde.
ning Esa Balde
And you've been mentioned
anin kabi ito fota fana
with regards to the 1995 PPP demonstrators who were arrested and taken to Mile 2.
men yalon ko
To the NIA rather.
abe sujuri ning 1995 bala nalde la men yalon ko ye mutanu ye samba NIA
But none of the witnesses incriminated you in their torture.
bare se nyimuta mol kono mote jede me yalon ko aye to fo ka fo ko ida bulata ala mari la tarji tajire ya kono
As such, that issue is put aside. It is not on your docket.
woda lilo kan to malame na be olanda karala la wotete la ko nyin kono
Your colleagues mention your name as having been there,
ido nyoli e to fole ko ibe nun jele
but we have not received any evidence that you participated in the torture.
bare man sede andiri soto jang kay tandi ko ida bulata o tajire ya nyin kono le
The victims claim that their torturers were many, they could not recognize everybody.
mol la men yen ko le ya ko soto ko ye men fo jang iko men mol be siari num bakele hakilo ta mutano le jumala be nunji anin jumala tenunji
Your colleagues put you as a member of the receiving party, the receiving team.
ido nyol men kete ido ko nyoti o wato la ye ko e mu fanan keta mollet me yalon ko idabe mol ko me yalon ko wolle kay mol bendum
But considering that we do not have anything more than that,
are hanin kabiniya jube man fen soto me yalon ko wolle tambita wala
fairness would dictate that issue is put aside as far as you are concerned.
tilingo yo sambitite sembentiade silambe o karoni ko nyimbe o landila karala la
So you would not be called upon to answer to any allegations on that particular issue.
woto silang kumando to kele kan pour ye na jabiro ke o kuola
So we are left with only one other issue, which is the execution of the 9 death row inmates.
silang ku kilingol tude jembe men ka tialo wala nyinti ko mo fame yalon ko keta mo konon to la menu fatanu
Of course, the executions were ordered by, were ordered or approved by the head of state.
to nyala wo faro nying meya ko nying sonyan sembenti an meya tembo diala wala nundo nyaton ko membe nun jam
The allegation you face
mirola me alon ko wala be lari nyati limola
is that as Minister of Justice at the time, you ought to have ensured that the executions were carried out in accordance with law.
to mala men na telo minister te men yalon ko atelbe marlin lual nin tilingo tonya yalan itele nyanna ferol be katar ko kala yaaje ko janni wo faro be kala yaaje bula lual nin sartol no ma folo
The evidence before this commission, as it currently stands,
sedendro nga men soto commission nyati ngola jang membe sabatirim folo
is that those executions did not go in accordance with law.
wala nyinti ko wo farol men keta wo mo konon tolla mantane silala me yalon ko luaye sembo dialale
And as such, as Minister of Justice, you have failed in your responsibility.
wo dalilo kan tumala men tela mun minister me yalon ko tela mara lual nin tilingola woto ila do ko nyin iboyta jele
So these are the two issues you will be called upon to answer.
woto ñillem ku fulo de me yalon ko mbe kuman la walla pour ye jabiro kala
This hearing is happening in the context of the institutional hearing on the NIA.
ñin diamo ñing bensio men kono jang abe doku bundal la kiskisiro me men ke kan doku bundal la ko abe wala kono
But there would also be a hearing on the justice sector institutions.
to nyala fanan hani kabi moyro fanan be la moyro fanan be kelale na kiti bundal la ko doku bundal la karola
So the first issue that you would be confronted with deals with the NIA.
follow be nyaatil na men la jang me alon ko ñini karo ne jabiro be tarle ni wala tema wala institutional yar mem NIA la karola
But the second question you are faced with would deal with the justice sector institutions.
imbota woto mbita luwala tilingo la karola fana
So part of your hearing would be the opening for our hearing on the justice sector institutions.
oto la sedan ro kono ada be tarla je fana ning atra wato sita pour ka da bunda yele pour na tilingo bunda fana na nimbe o fana jubela o fana be tarla je
That's the introduction I have. Are you ready to proceed?
wala be mbulu pour ka landi nyati ngola jan silang fo be pare na bam pour ngadi ka nyin damuda
Yes.
We should try, Mr. Jobate, to make this hearing not as legalistic.
nga kata nyasiyo be nyama nyinsiyo nyimbe nsiyo mengono jang kana kata ngake nga fombe luwala kullel dun la je fero kono
Otherwise, the people at home watching would sleep.
ni wonde men be la moy rola so kono be
So
sino
we
la
try to break things down and make it easy and interesting.
nga kata nga ko nyimbe be men kacala jang nga kata nga be faram fansi nyoka nga senea
Okay. Are you ready to proceed, sir?
ebe pare rin nga damu
Yes.
Kindly give us your full names.
itoni kontongo dinna bang
My names are Lamin AMS Jobate.
nto mu Lamin AMS Jobate leti
It's a very long one. I would ask for what AMS means. So, but you are otherwise known as Baba Dinding Jobate.
par ni nga bora lamin AMS jobate la yeto lom baba dindim fanan nale
Yes, that is correct.
umuto nyalti
Provide us with your date and place of birth.
fanyam bang ila wulu sang ani wulu da bintole fanyam bang
I was born at Bansang
wuluta bansan sa tewle kono
on August 1st,
August karoti
1956.
August karoti follow 1956 sango kono
Where did you go to school?
ila karamo da muta bintole
At Bansang in 1961.
ngakaramo da muta bansan ne 1961 sango kono
Give us a brief rundown of your educational background.
kumala sutiya kan
Sorry.
kumala sutiya kan ila londi karamo ni ya da muta nyamen a fanyam bang
Just
kata
as much as you would want to talk about it. We all know you are a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of the Gambia. You can give us a brief rundown.
You see, my problem is I'm not very good at dates.
It's understandable.
So I have that written here, if I may kindly refer to it.
Please do.
Thank you.
hakilo mambete abat ke ka lungulu mutabake barbidu asafero ngobijan nan tanante nsi ojibe barbidu yesilo dila pour
We
yaji
do this, Mr. Jobate, because this record, we believe, should be one that would be read by several generations of Gambians to come.
nganyi ke dalilo men kan wala nyindi ko jikita nyinnelo ko mbe men ke kanjang men bebe safe kanjang hani muringol sinin sama wol be si munafangala ka karang
So understanding and
Kafaha.
knowing a bit about the personalities that the cast of characters that appeared before this commission would be important.
a lom fanan ko mo sifa nyaadi len ma beta commission nyaadi la nyamu ibe mun do ko sifa nyaadi le o fanan kumma da je bakal
Please proceed.
tenten
I attended Bansang Primary School from 1961 to 1967.
na bansam primary karambun ke kabo 1961 kata 1967
After sitting to the common entrance examination,
ringa londi kontibo ke ka fo may common entrance examinations
I had a fair pass.
na ganyo soto me ya lonko temalanko le me ka fo may fair pass
And I attended Crab Island Junior Secondary School from 1967 to 1971.
data Crab Island Junior Secondary School kabo 1967 kata 1971
Yes. And Thereafter, I start to another examination,
kola ngalondi kontibo do fananke
secondary for leaving examination.
ulem secondary for school leaving examination lo londi kontibo.
I had a pass and I went to Armitage High School
Nganyeta oto fanango tumolon tata Armitage High School
from 1971 to 1973.
abo 1971 kata 1973.
I believe during the second term,
hakilo bakang sappa fulanjango na karango wuche fulanjango nyinkono
I was admitted or accepted
isonta purkanta
Rebungab Nakuchi High School in USA.
karambugo nyinto dum ko teke
Rebungab Nakuchi School, High School.
Regun Gab Nakuchi Secondary School member America. High school member America.
Where I studied from 1973 to 1974.
Na karang ko to fanan ka 1973 kata 1974 sango kang.
Then with the way things were,
Kulubelari nu nyame wotumo.
I was not happy at that school.
Man sewo wo karambu ngoto.
So it was predominantly white students.
Atu woto fatakoyo lu menobe karangola je wolle sembo warta je wolle siata.
And I went through a lot.
Ndo ngaku jamale takije.
So I decided to move to Equinos High School in Augusta, Georgia.
Nata Equinos High School member Augusta, Georgia, Tundokan.
In USA.
America Banko Kanje.
Where I was from 1974 to 1975.
Bewol to 1974 kata 1975.
After my grade 12,
Ringana grade 12 bang.
I applied and was admitted at Northern Virginia Community College.
Nata saferoke andu inatanta Northern Virginia Community College.
In Alexandria, Virginia.
Alexandria, Virginia sate toje.
From 1975 to 1978.
Abu 1975 kata 1978.
Where I graduated.
Bitungana makama take jele.
With what qualification?
An associate degree in applied science.
Na associate degree le soto je londo meya lonko le keta londo tamanditati.
Upon completion, I returned to the Gambia.
Ringa mbandi woto nseitana Gambia.
I had a scholarship to go to the University of Guyana, West Indies.
Nata scholarship soto purkata University to membe Guyana, West Indies.
Where I was from 1985 to 1986.
Bewol to kabo 1985 kata 1986.
The West Indies, I need to explain that.
West Indies wotokuo fonga sata domandi.
They have a unified university system.
Tilla University karansilo nying bunda lorin meya lonko.
You do LLB 1
Ka LLB 1 kele
at that university.
o university to je.
Then you move to the main campus.
Ina sina boto ete la campo ba nyum fangoto
in Barbados.
membe Barbados.
Mr. Jovate, you did not go to University of Guyana, West Indies. That doesn't exist. You went to University of the West Indies in Guyana campus.
No, that is the way they put it.
No, I went to the same university.
In Guyana?
No, I went to Cave Hill campus in Barbados. It's University of the West Indies, UWI, and it has satellite campuses all over the West Indies. Yes. So you went to the campus in Guyana, that is for fourth year law. And second year law and the rest of the program is hosted at Cave Hill campus, St. Michael in Barbados.
Yes.
Proceed.
Okay.
Okay, Tenten.
Then after a couple of months, at Cave Hill,
Bring a carried full nyonke Cape Hill.
we were told that the scholarship would not continue.
Ya fonyen ko scholarship member na karango sembentu yakang ate continue nola.
So we had to come back.
Dalilo le ya sabu nseitana.
And then arrangements were made for us to go and finish at Sierra Leone.
Ina tafukulu topoto nyempuru ngatana karango tola ban Sierra Leone.
When I arrived in Sierra Leone,
Rimfuta Sierra Leone.
I was told that I came late.
Nyina fonyen ko nte la futoje adukunditale wala matarde tale mamfuta juna.
Which institution in Sierra Leone?
Institution Juma. Sierra Leone do ko bunda juma Sierra Leone ko karam
Which institution?
University of Sierra Leone.
University of Sierra Leone.
Forabe College.
Forabe College.
Rabe college
Furabe College.
That is correct.
Ha walem.
So I came back,
Mseita nan kotake.
and the following year,
Asalna ka.
I returned
Muruta.
from 1988 to 1989.
Kabo 1988 kata 1989.
You returned where?
murunta na minto
You returned where?
To Sierra Leone.
Muruta Sierra Leone le.
After a year in Sierra Leone,
Bringa sanji kilinke Sierra Leone.
I had a scholarship to go and read law at the International Islamic University in Malaysia.
Nata scholarship soto pour kata lua karang bankunim bankute ma l'islam karambungoto membe Malaysia.
Where I studied law from 1989 to 1993.
Na lua karanje kabo 1989 kata 1993.
I was called to the bar in 1993.
What were you to study at Forabe?
Rabe yemune karanje
What were you to study at Forabe?
Law.
Na lua le karang furabe fana.
Proceed.
And then
So at the International Islamic University, I studied law from 1989 to 1993.
bankunim bankute ma Islamic karambumba membe Malaysia 1989 kata 1993 ntarta wolto ngalua karanje.
I was called to the bar in 1993 in the Gambia.
Dun Gambia jan 1993 lo yen commande pour ngadum kito bunda do kola.
Well, luckily for you guys, you didn't have to do the bar.
No, we did the bar. It's all fused in the same system. I
Mfana
had
nga
known I would have
bakele.
brought my transcript for you to see.
Mfana nga bakele bari abebe dundi nyoto ateo bunda kilingole koto.
All right, for what it is, let's proceed. You were called to the bar in 93.
Yes.
And then tell us about your career progression.
silam ila tanya to fonam fanya mentutaje
I first entered the service, civil service, as a training executive officer.
Nga do ko follow mansakunda do ko to training executive officer walem palaso me yalon ko yen dundi je bari mbe do ko nyin karanka nyola le fana.
That was upon my return from the United States.
O keta wato men brim muruta nan kabonan America.
And I was in that position from 1979 to 1980.
Mbe palaso to kabana 1979 kata 1980.
After a few months,
Ring
the
kardanta
establishment office, now PMO,
kardanta tambeta ka fo office menun establishment office sai ka fo jele PMO.
I was transferred to Department of Animal Health and Husbandry from 1980 to 1981.
Ina tan do ko sawundi do ko bunda la menu marta be yanglu fanalu la jara roning ila topoto nyala ka 1980 kata 1981.
Sometime in 1981,
Watinata soto 1981
I was transferred to Department of Health.
yen na do ko sawundi ko take kata do ko bunda la mata jata kende ala.
And after a few months, I was posted to Bansang Hospital,
Ringa karidanta keje ina tan do ko samba bansal lobitano to.
where I remained from 1981 to 1984.
Be wolto non kabo 1981 kata han fo 1984.
From Bansang Hospital,
Rimboto bansal lobitano to.
I was transferred to the Department of Water Resources,
Yen na do ko sawundi do ko bunda la marta nemaji o do ko la nyimbanko kan.
from 1984 to 1985.
Kabo 1984 kata 1985.
That was when I proceeded to study law.
Otumolem nata tenten kata lua karang.
And upon my return in 1993,
So between Brin nata saying and 1993,
I was appointed at the Ministry of Justice as a public prosecutor.
tumole yedu ko dinna na minister bundala mamata kitol ni tilingo kunyala yenke jama kitindilati.
In the same year, 1993,
Teo sankilingo kono 1993,
I was promoted to a state council.
na palaso lafa yenke state council ti wala between Bangkok and kitindirla.
Whilst there,
Mbewto tumomeng
I was posted to the police as a cadet assistant superintendent of police.
bewolto ina tan na palaso fanan samba ko ke police cadet assistant superintendent palaso yewle dinna police bundala.
From 1994
Abo 1994
to 1995.
ta 1995.
And in 1995 to 1996,
ɗum kabo 1995 kata 1996
I was promoted to Assistant Superintendent of Police.
na place o lafa kake assistant superintendent police.
During this year,
wo sango ɓucce o kono
I was sent to do a drug course at Grand Bassam in Ivory Coast.
sango kono le yen ki pour ngata ñi sira feŋolu kula kuña karan Grand Bassam Ivory Coast banko kan.
And in 1996,
ɗum 1996 sango kono
I was redeployed to the NIA.
natana ɗo ko sawndi kan samba NIA.
What date?
ɗum juma wala
What date?
ɗum juma
Which date? When were you? You said it was in 1993 you were redeployed to the NIA. Give us
No,
the
1996.
yes. Give us the full date of your deployment.
I don't remember the actual month.
Do you have your redeployment letter
letter o ɓe
Well,
ɓulde
it should
ban
be in my personal file
at the NIA?
at the NIA.
Mr. Chair, perhaps you can make an order that the NIA would provide the Commission with the redeployment letter for Mr. Jobati.
Fine, Council.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Proceed, Mr. Jobati.
Then-
And upon my arrival at the NIA in 1996,
birim futata NIA 1996
I was promoted to the rank of Superintendent of Police,
yen na place o lafa kanke superintendent police bundala
where I remained in 1998 up to 1998.
ndutawol to han fo 1998 sango kono.
And in that very year,
wo sankilingo kono
I was fired
yen mbay
by the then president.
tumo president o men bije.
And if I may say, that is connected to the demonstration that you spoke about earlier.
nin sa fono wonna o bayroɓe dendin wo balambayale la yemen na kumo fo nun komanto domandi.
And I would wish to later on explain the reason for that dismissal.
aɗo ñaato domandin mais nin ngasilo soto mba satala le munanna nata bayro soto kuo kono.
Then I went into private practice.
tumolo ngaɗo ko damuta mfayye
From 1998 to 2010.
abo 1998 kata 2010
And in 2010,
ɗum 2010 sango kono
I was appointed a high court judge.
yen tombon
Gambia.
yen ke kitindirlati na kiti bunda santon koto ka frame high court.
And from 2012 to 2014,
abo 2012 kata 2014
I was appointed as the Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
ye palaso dinna attorney general la office to minister bunda la mamata kito nin tilum kunyal.
Give me those dates again.
ɗumol dinna ban
2010 to 2014, you said.
2012 to 2014.
Okay. All right.
Okay. During the same period,
atewo wuce kilin kono
I was the chairman of the Legal Aid Board.
ndelam sirantioti kitindirla la ka fo men yalo men ka makoyro ke kitindirol la karola ka fo men legal aid.
And I have since been in private practice from 2016 to date.
Dum between kabrin 2016 fukana bula bila mbem fanson do ko lela.
And what did you do between 2014 and 2016?
yemune ke kabo 2014 sango kono fo 2016
I was at mile 2.
Tumo mbe mile 2
I think I spent about a year and 5 months there.
namira nga sanji kilin kar lulu kejele.
What was the reason?
mune mu daliloti
I don't remember the exact charges.
Hakilo mambuta mambula tumir lolu fongo la mellankan.
Wouldn't that
But
be
it was
strange?
all a trump of charge.
Bari o tumirol be amunta ye tumirol le kumol le tadro ye fayño kanka lanna.
But that may very well be the case. In fact, that was the norm. Looking at the evidence that is presented before this commission. But what I find a little bit bewildering is the fact that you cannot recall what the charges are. You are a lawyer. In private practice, this is your bread and butter. This is what you deal with on a daily basis.
wala belari nu wala nyama nu mo jamal be janga o sedan do la soto nu bari hani ajube wala fa onte jagali bawo tumala be ngi nyini ka mun mu tumi rolti e mende kango dai ko hakilo tamuda non bari nite ajube etela e ma fannale nyindi kadi do mu loyalty nyinka mu dala do mburo ni mbota ite ete nyanna hakilo nyanna mu dala le ye tumi menna.
As far as I am concerned, I can remember only 2 of the charges.
Ning hakilo samutano nte hakilo si tumir fula drone manoje.
What were they?
One was giving false information to the president.
Lim womunyine ko ngakuma soto balole for president way.
Yes, and what
The
else?
second one was economic crime.
Fulanjang wala mnyinti fanko tinyaro ke fanko le la karola bankola fanko.
Mr. Jobate, you said these are trump-up charges.
Yes.
I will not go into the details of the charges.
Tita fan batanda pour ka dum nyin tumi rol be kun ka ko ke jaba kese ko ka long.
But the issue of this giving of false information
Nyin kula ka fako e kibarol di me alon ko amansoto.
and this issue of economic crime,
Anim fanko la tinyaro ye tumi menno fana.
would you say that these were the most abused legislation by the then president in order to do away with people he considered he is not happy with or to do away with his perceived opponents?
Fo iba fala ko nyullem tumi rol de men ya lon ko num do president men be nun jang. Aka suji bake nyul tumir sifal del kan ka la mol kan mol la men ya lon ko a malla fila waranto alafta ke bondi kuwol kono.
I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
In fact, these 2 pieces of legislation have been used to unlawfully imprison a big number of Gambians, especially those at the higher levels, intellectuals and public servants.
No hanin kabi nyin tumiri bunda fulo luala karoni ajube tumiri la me alon ko ay munafang la bakele ka la mol kan saja ka mol sorong gambia nolu surdu abol kono na lonnalu aning mi alon ko palasi batio le gambia banko kanja.
That is correct.
Muto nyalti.
In view of your experiences as Minister of Justice,
Itela londo kono yemeng soto tumala men e keta ministre me alon ko wala mata lual ning kitire kunyal
as a judge,
kake jojo fanandi
as a private practitioner, legal practitioner,
ignara na ke kitindir la ka lo mole fana kitindiro la karola.
would you think that these 2 pieces of legislation ought to be repealed if they are not already repealed?
Ila mira loro fo ya mira nyin tumir bunda fulol fo e nyanna kala tumir bunda me alon ko fo isi falim ma waranto fo e nyanta falin ma fo e falin dalaba.
I would agree that if they are still on the statute books, this will be one of the first things that ought to be repealed.
Hanim bide nim misali kam makana bula bila ninyi nyin tumir kamfulolu be na tamaram bukolu kono le bi woto nyilek nyanta kala follow ti tumir fololti e nyanta menu falin.
The reason being,
Dalilo nyineti ninsi continue.
the reason being they are draconian.
Dalilo memba ko ma wolum follow ti ku kono fari ngol le muyti.
Most unfair.
Andung iman tiling ni lawo kibir babe.
And oftentimes
andun tumodolu
they are hardly ever proved.
Ibukana akonyi bisambano hanifo kaitandi ka sene andi kotonyato nya nyimem fota nyino mutonyati.
If I may further explain,
Insi continue ka asata no.
I was accused of giving false information to the president.
Yentumi kunga kumasoto balole for president way.
The president was never called to testify.
Inenamam president command price ele yaroke.
How were they able to prove that charge
Itelio ko dun sede yandi no nyadile.
and sustain a conviction?
And for ibita sorondiro dundila okang.
So in a sense, you are not only kept at mile 2, you were convicted.
Munta ime manke nyini dron ye mabo mile tu la bari nat ni soronde fana.
What was the sentence?
Sorondiro nyin ko be jelle lal wati jelle lala.
I think it was about, if I can recollect, it must have been about 3 years.
Ni hakilo mambo ngamera yesanji sabale fonu.
Did you appeal the sentence? The conviction and sentence?
Sorondiro nyi melle kan fay nat na daniro kele ba pour ka murun kambang.
Yes, I did.
ha nga kele
What was the outcome?
menena na ko murun kan din kiti o nyinde
It was never, the appeal was never heard because he granted us no a pardon.
wo pour ka o kito sayin kan anene mamoy katu nata yam fole di molla
Who granted you a pardon?
mal na
Yaya
yang ko
Jammeh.
dila
yaya jamme
Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Jobate,
ino barbaga bar Mr. Jobate
during your 2-year stint as Minister of Justice,
ila sanji fulo nyin kono wato be minister me mara lual nin tilingol kunyala
how many people were tried under these two draconian laws?
yemo jellel kitindi nyin bunda fulo la nyin tumir bunda fulo la
I cannot remember the number of the people,
hakkilote amo nangamo nyi yirkanola
but I know,
Were there any?
aketala
yes, indeed.
aketale
And as Minister of Justice, you are therefore responsible for prosecutions under these two statutes, which you have now come to say were draconian.
silang tumala men munu minister me alon ko itala marda lual nin tilingo kunyala iko nyin tumir bunda fulo mu tumir bunda me alon ko mu tumir bunda
tumir bunda kono fanu men ya lon ko e man loran soto
I have never ever personally prosecuted any case of that nature. No case at all, in fact.
ntene man hani kitindir kilim fango ke me ya lon ko atlinta wo kito kenya fasongol lela
But Mr. Jobate, you are the chief legal advisor to government. You are chief lawyer for government.
ite Mr. Jobate ni ajube wo watola itala nyaton kolti kayamaro di mansala karola luala karola itala mu nyaton kolti no kayamaro di mansala
You
luala karola
you are responsible for the actions at the Ministry of Justice.
woku me alon ko atamata ministry
Prosecuted these cases.
ministry bundaro me alon ko atele marne lual nin kitindir kunyala koku kera je fatili ndela bam fa mang tilimbang itala ba dunotala fayola
Call me, a ceremonial Minister of Justice at the time.
wotembo isin kumandino men na je
I will explain
wole
why.
danko dorom minister
Mr.
amuntambe o palaso to tumo
Mr. Jabate, I refuse to call you that. There is no such title in the Constitution of the Republic.
Yes,
You
sir.
are given a position and you are given all powers to deal with it. If you believed that you were ceremonial, you were toothless, you ought to have resigned.
sa se don te kuma dino lawla ka fo mo minister civil ka tum ye tombo ne yeke minister tanu sembo be na na dila le pour yele do ko bar ni ata ya kala muta ko imo minister civil to di palace o nyindo nyanto be bul warando silo be bul pour ye fo ye resign
That is very well correct.
muto nyaleti
But this is one man
yimu moleti
that would not accept any resignation.
ya lon ko abuka song mola palasi
That's
sayin
number one.
umukilindi
But I dispute that fact, Mr. Jabate.
Can I finish?
ba dambalanda wala
But let's take it point by point.
Matter.
You would continue, but let's just deal with this issue of resignation. Quite a number of people have resigned positions in government and nothing happened.
mo jamal soron da me alon ko yela paka mala palace o seyle man sakunda do ko kala bar kuma kela
As far as I know, there was only one ministerial resignation. Only one.
ntela londoto minister palaso ka sayindi ke fonyo aketa sinya kilinne mbota menkala
But isn't that because the people who were ministers just wanted the positions and remained, regardless of all the things that were happening?
bar fana fana nyina ma hono manga kuolti wo mol be me alon ko yeke minister di lafta palace o nyinne la wala nay tuta o palace o nyinto
I wouldn't say so.
ndeta fala woja
Mr. Jabate, do you have anything to show that you are not in the job because you wanted it?
wesi fe itandi ban sedo ko ibe mantra palace o nyinto ka fo do ila fitala do
Yes,
ha
not a document.
ani akaito de wonte
Tell the commission.
You see, I will give you a few examples.
si misal danta dialla
There was a position of a chairperson at the AU.
ala so bi jenu menyanta kala sirantioti au
He called and told me to speak to the ambassador in Addis, exactly.
ayam kumandi akonga diamu ambassador e membe Addis Ababa sate kono wotumo
I did my findings.
nganna ko kisikisiro ke fongambandi
And I spoke to the then Ambassador Sajo Jalo.
Utumo ambassador membije Sajo Jalo ndia mutaye.
And he told me
Wenyi mfanye ko.
if we send more than one candidate,
Ninga molu kije mentambita hani mo kilingola.
we would lose the position to Senegal.
Mbe fola palaso nyinale de Senegal batala.
Prior to that, we had sent 3 nominees.
Barjanyo bekelanga mo tombondin sabala kibaro kije.
As soon as the file got to him,
Rim file of Futata Madoron,
he only wrote 2 words,
I kalima fulale safe,
a non-starter.
a non-starter, Willem Kumente Datila.
The file came back.
File ni muruta nang.
Upon the request of Sajo Jaro,
Itu Sajo Jallo la kanindiro kang.
Were you happy with that minute?
not at all,
o se wota hukuma ka onjinda la ban
Why?
kumenta datila
because I took it as an insult.
Katu ngata le ko nendiro le moti.
But wasn't that the way Jammeh worked with all his ministers?
fay jamme buka do ko kanu anala minister be ka buka do ani buka
Well, I would say yes.
Mba fala ko ha.
He would frequently insult all of you.
watini wadi asa
Wow.
dene
Ha.
I wish you had worked with him as a minister.
Left ninga no no inasi do ko ke kake
Answer the
minister.
question.
The answer is yes.
Frequently insult all of you.
Nyinin karo mu ha.
In that respect, I'll give you another example.
Wa kamala nsis misal do fanandila.
I think it was either the European Union
Ngamera European Union long.
or some other organization related to the UN.
Wala kafudole fana mumeni UN ye choki nyolo soto.
They sent a 10-point
10 point.
Go ahead, please.
and asked that the Gambia responds to those points.
Ye bunda tanne kinang pour Gambia si jabiro ke te law bunda tangul la karola ye menno kibaro kinang.
And he assigned that to the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Ayodo ko di minister bunda le la menu marta luani menu marta tilingu nin kito kunyalla ani minister bunda memben ni bantala banko lutema.
And asked that we respond to those points.
On tele si jabiro ke wo lawo bunda tang makangulula.
As far as I'm concerned,
Tela karola.
we came up with a beautiful write-up.
Ntelu nga safero ke menketa ntelu fe safari sahari mbati
We sent it to him.
nga kiyaye
That is Yaya Jammeh.
ate yaya jamme.
Without reading that write-up,
Amahani o safero fango karang.
which at some point we discovered
Kum tata hanu fo watina ta soton tata je ko
the then Secretary General,
même secretary general tinu wo tembo
I can't remember his name, but I believe the surname was Jata.
hakilo ta to mutanola le bare amari kontong mu jata le tinu
He convened a meeting
ay bengole kumandi
at the State House in the cabinet room.
state house je de alfa la bem bunga kono ka fada me cabinet room
He invited GRTS
ay GRTS kumandi je
insults were raining on us like nobody's business.
nendirobe ji kan to kan ko sanjo.
Let me ask you.
on ngenyi ninga
Well, if he would do it so brazenly in the public glare,
ninga tara ka usifa ko jamaa fa kono ten
he would do it even worse in cabinet.
aba kala woto hani katambi wala fa nal damal cabinet minister damal be siri be
Is
jawi ala
that the case?
fon
Very well.
Wala fangom
And what is surprising and shocking?
ne jahalo warta janga diminna fa nam warta
The thing that would pain a Gambian the most, from my experiences at least,
ntela londo ngamen londinde ngamen soto men ka gambiano dimi bake fa
insult,
ndiro
disrespect,
nyanta ya
and
hormanta ya
belittling of the person.
anu ka mari doya
You see, lead counsel, what I would wish you to understand,
lead council ngoya je mbela fila yamem faham
Yaya Jammeh would insult anybody.
ya jamme ase momon din nen nole.
See, there is a saying from one British parliamentarian during the visit of Obama in UK.
Député bun nanka kilin sotonta England banko kan wato men Obama tata kumba boro la je
he said, if you want to test a man's character,
ako ni lafta hadama dingo jiko kotobola
give him power.
sembo diala.
That would be the speaker, wasn't it?
Pardon me?
That would have been the right honorable speaker.
Exactly.
Wala famu mude.
And correlated to Jam.
Jammeh has a bizarre character.
Jammeh jiko le bala meya lonko jiko le meya lonko mo buka kalango lonno.
He has no remorse.
Andung abukani misakula.
I think the only person that ever told him the truth and got away with it is, I don't remember her name, but she is one of these bishops or priests.
Fal.
Namera ning hakilo mato
Is it Anafal?
Hanafal.
Wolem Hanafal.
She is the only one that I know of.
Mbota odrone ta kala mameye tonya fay amang adiatala.
Exactly.
Ha.
Because I remember
Katun hakilo ya muta.
he once told his chief of protocol, then Moses Jallo,
Nene nyumfo ala protocol nyaton ko e mennuka atala hajolu tamandi ikafo e otumo Moses Jallo.
this was late in the evening on a Friday,
Umu jumalungo urara ndingoleti.
that I must come over to his office.
It at sine danku wala ala ofisoto.
If anybody can hold his heart in his hands,
Nimmo mundi se ajuso mutano abulo kono
I would have done so.
ulum abmbe okelale nu.
Because the manner in which I drove to Banjul and the State House,
Kadu ngamoto borindu nu nyamen kata hanfo kata State House.
I could have had a terrible accident.
Si accident jawu soto nole nun siloka.
Why?
I don't know what he's calling me for and what he was going to do next.
Kadu malong akankili nu munela alu malong abina munekela koteke.
But isn't it the case that all of you were terrified of him? All of you were afraid of him?
That is correct.
Umuto nyali.
He would insult all of you with impunity, nothing would come out.
That's why I said he has no remorse or moral fiber at all.
Wala nanko abukani misakula adun hadamaya hakilo fongotala hanidomandi.
How about his truthfulness? You want to understand Yaya Jammeh?
Kansul
what I would say about that,
mememfola wokumoto.
if this man talks to you,
Ninyin dia muteye.
you will consider him the strongest and the bravest man in the world.
Ba mutala ko nyine sembo warata adu nyine fatiyata mobeti dunia kono.
Because he's mostly characterized by lies and false stories.
Kato ate tarambulo mumenati fania fo anin kuma soto bali fo.
Give us examples.
I recall in one of his conversations,
Hakilo bakang ala kachara do sotonta.
he told us incidents that happened when he was in the army.
Kumol le fonye menu ketanu wato men atabe sojariala.
He once also told us
Anene nyim fanam fonyeng
that the former president Sadaro Jawara,
ko membu president utinum foloto Sadauda Jawara
he said, and I quote,
ayo purka kumaka ngonyin sata.
that the lady was misbehaving at the State House and refused for Sadaro to leave the State House, go out.
Muso the lady ko muso wabe manya siala State House andung abalanta puru kafinti State House kono.
And when he was called upon,
Karibiri ate kumandi
he went to the lady,
atata muso nyinkang
which I presume must have been Lady Killen.
me alon kon
And
sinna mi rota
he said he pointed his finger at her
ko aya abulu kondingo le chodi wala tendorong
and said to her, get out of here and go back.
akoyen ko fundi jang yeta.
You think somebody in his rightful mind will do that to the president's wife?
Ya mera moment na sondo mo be nyola o sio ke president la muso la bang.
Well, he spoke to the demons or the what do they call them at the Kerewan Bridge?
Adi
And
amuta
even at Janjambure Bridge.
ngamira ninna janjambure saloto adi amata jinno lejele.
He said when he came to Kerwan Bridge,
Ko birana ta Kerwan saloto.
he said he spoke to the devils
Adi amata setano leje.
and they laid conditions
Andu wol fanal nata la sarto landi
which they accepted.
me ya lon ko wol fanal sonta.
Then the late Sirif Diba
Tumo tala Sirif Diba
was there
ubije.
and he made him a witness.
Ando ayola kala sedot.
Did Mr. Diba accept?
He wouldn't dare disagree.
Ata hanyila kabalang.
This man will call you and tell you things and say, if you don't do them, your head will be on my table.
Nyinke kumandila ay kumolu foya ko nyinke. Barbito ni ma nyinke fana mbe kumulandila na tabulo kanjal.
But the thing is, all of you believed in him. All of you submitted to him.
You see, there is a saying also
Sando fana mbije.
that, I'm sorry, if the statement is offensive, but it is not my statement or my proverb.
Alsi haketu de ning ayatara nyin sando aketa doyar kuma kaunti bari bitun tema nyin sando fode mfana nkamwe de.
And I would prefer to say that in Mandinka.
Mbe o fala maninka kangoldo.
Sando Surwa La Kacha.
Discussions by Wolof from the rural areas
It's only to say, wow, wow, you don't disagree.
is only Wolem nyintika fodrong ha ebuka balang.
Yeah. And like I said,
Nga fonu nyaming.
one of the issues you raised in your introduction
Yokuma fanang kilimfo wato mebeka cha damutala.
You see, that PPP demonstration,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, now I need to come to the point.
Ye PPP nkola o balamba ya jeno alisi haketu de nata futa utemboto.
Investigations were done.
Kisikisiro lu ketale de.
I was then at the police at the time.
Utumonte be police watembola.
The file was compiled.
Ya file be da ka kaitul da.
And he instructed that the file be brought to me for an opinion.
Ando anyene kango foli en koy file natin teye pour nte fanansin nangani yo yitandi.
And that I must prosecute all of them.
Adu nyanta wulu be kitindi lale.
I looked at the file.
Na file o jube.
There wasn't sufficient evidence
Sede koyte je
to sustain even a prosecution, more so a conviction.
puru kawulu kitindi sako ka fo kawulu soro.
Then it was the people involved, and I cannot remember all of them, but I can remember, I think, a couple of names.
Molu menu dabije no ntebe fono la de barin sito fula nyom fono le.
Honorable O.J. Jallow was part of it.
Honorable O.J. Jallow dabije le.
The late Usainu Njai was also part of it.
Dala Usainu Njai falam bijele.
And a few others.
Anin danta kotengolu.
But didn't you appear in court in the first few days?
Can I finish?
Yes.
All right.
I wrote the opinion
Na ntela ngani yo safe.
and stated clearly
Andu ngani safe je ka sene yandi ko.
there isn't sufficient evidence on the file to warrant a prosecution.
Sede koyte nyin file ko no mensa kendi mo sinyili kitindi menna.
And I believe you can guess what happened to me.
Andu beto lata la ite sang ifo sa mira no le menna ta kentela.
What happened?
File.
Yembay.
But did you at any point in time appear in court in prosecution of those cases?
Bari fu wati nata soron dala bang ifa kunno nata kiti la ro buruka nyun kiti ndiba.
But fortunately for me,
Bari menna ta kente manta bengote.
the file was sent to the then DPP,
Ye file ki utumo moya memo DPP tinu utumo.
Justice Akamba.
Gavai Justice Akamba.
He wrote an opinion
Ufanaya anganiyo safeje.
similar to the one that I had come up with.
Adu nte mennu safe aninwo mari fananta be muliyatal.
I was reinstated
Ye murundi na palaso.
and then sent me to Abidjan.
Yenki Abidjan.
The drug course, I believe it was about 2 or 3 months.
Purungata nyi sira fenja wala ko karanje ngamira karifula wala karisabalom.
But the matter went to court. At least there was some holding charge. And the matter was in court.
Bari ko nyin tara kiti la do andu aketa nyaaw nyara ni nyama. kube jele me alon ko abe bulo ko no ya
charges were ultimately withdrawn.
tumirol nyingi
Well,
yalla bawo nyinata wol bondi jolonde
I am not aware of any of those.
mambolu dodo kalama
In fact,
Because the reason why,
adumuna na mambo kalama nu
you know what they call a manenka kankurang.
no what they say a masquerade in Mandinka.
If it kills your father,
If a masquerade kills your father,
when you see what the world say, no janja buhonga.
if you see
No,
a red ant hill,
you don't know.
That's why, you know, I kept away completely from that case.
wala na ngam fanjam fandi freng wakitola.
But the point to be made, really,
ko mendi menyana jubela wala mko
is no matter how one describes it,
ko la ta nyaaw nyara ni moya fo nyaaw nyara ni nyaaw
the ministers of state
minister bankola minister
and the top civil servants
ani mansakunda do kula nyaton ko
created and entrenched a dictatorship in this country.
tol fangol le bulo dunda nyun ko kono pour kanyi sembela maralo nyinta ka sembenti a banko ka
Because they were all compliant to Jammeh's wishes.
ka to be keta mollet men ya lon ko ya jamela tafta ko kula ifanan kaso wala
Do you agree with that?
isonta wala
I will not agree.
Nte sonna.
If you say we were all fearful of him, I will agree.
Niko mbesila tala de omutonyande.
If you say that he is treacherous, I will agree.
Niko jamfan tungolong mbesonna.
And if you say he is capable of doing anything,
Niko
Anybody.
molam nyinti mensi kokundin keno momondin nale
I will also agree.
mbesonna ofanana.
But to defy his instructions,
Bari puruka la ya maro la kumakangolo keiso so.
I don't know of any minister who would dare do that.
Ma minister lo mensi hanyi wotumo kawoke.
But I think what you have just said reinforced my proposition.
Namira bitu yame mfoten saying weyente la kumakam fori ngonyi sembentu yale.
What I am saying is,
Ndeme mfokan nu wala.
Gambians who occupied the highest positions close to the president
Gambianol men e place balu soto menu katatate president wala.
were all wow men.
Wolu be mu molleti men ya lon ko ibkala kuma soso be kasong ha wodron it be tarta wala je.
And women,
Ani musolu
to the extent that they created a monster
anu fo wala nata sabu inata setani jawo londing nyajang
and entrenched a dictatorship.
bitum inata sembela mararo dundi fay sulo dung
True or false?
But I would say true.
ba fala
Only
umuto
that.
nyalti bari ukang
You called him, what was the name you called him?
ko ya kumandi to man
Monster. I will call him a baboon.
de ba fala ko babun long wala mun demmo
Well, people really are really fearful of baboons, but they're very fearful of monsters. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. What other reasons do you have which you believe have helped to perpetuate this terrible situation we had, which people call the dictatorship?
itela mira lodo mune sababuta wara mune ya sabu men sababuta nyin marale nya sifala fo men narna ya ko nyinta falin mole ko ki keda mole sembela maraloti
See, let me give you the example of Sana Sabali and Sadibu Hydra.
mbarnga misalo dila sana sabali nin sadibu haidara
There was chaos in Banjul
du nyolo keta banyul
because everybody thought that was an attempted coup.
katu mobe nyi mira ko kudeta le pareta kelanu
Which, as far as I know,
me ya lon kon tela londoto
was false.
mukuma soto baloleti
And my reasons are,
na dalilolu mumenti
he has police officers and other security officers at the State House.
polisolu anin kanto nin tankada dokula kotangulu be state house je
He instructed
ay kama dila
that
oh
I should go and answer to him at the State House.
wete dankuma la state house
On arrival,
brief data
he gave me his own version of what happened.
ate aya fansun kuma kan fonye ate ko ay ko keta nyamin
See, on hearing his story,
ringate la kumakangolu moy
I couldn't say, no, you are not telling the truth.
nta fono la ka fa hani man to nyafo
But I knew he was lying.
bari ngalon ka be fani afo la no mutumo
He asked me to go and obtain a statement from Edward Singate.
ayen ki ko ngata kumakangota Edward Singate bulu
I went to Edward Singate.
data Edward Singate ya
He gave me a sketchy statement.
woy kumakangolu menu fonye mu danko doron kumakangol leti
And he also told me to go and obtain a statement from the late Khalifa Bajinka.
anata nyim fonye fanan ko ngata kumakangota tala Khalifa Bajinka fanan bulu
Khalifa Bajinka was very impolite with me.
Khalifa Bajinka amunta wolunda aketambulu motim me yalon ko mamalan kunno
He categorically told me
ay nyim fonye kenet la ko
that he would not go to court,
atetita kiti bundala
hold the Quran,
alquranu muta
and lie.
faniyafo
So he was not giving any statement.
oto ate kumakan wo kumakan dila
What did you do?
yemuneke
He said to leave his office and go.
lala ofiso bulantata
And what happened to the case?
manana na ki tiyo nyin ko case
That
nyin
I do not know because
wode
I could not have gone to him to tell him what I had experienced.
wode mala nata kenya men katu mantano kamurua kan kafae na kulu menu taki
Interesting.
nyabo
But did you ministers in cabinet at any point in time
atol minister alla cabinet kono ye fo wati nanda soton dale bang
have the idea
kanyim miro soto
that maybe the president was not stable,
ko asikeno nanyim president
mentally stable?
sondo mo man sabati fo na
That's my
tala
personal opinion.
ante fangola be sondo be miroto
As far as I know, he has gone beyond mental illness.
but kaje ko tembo atambita makamo la le kafoko nyin sondo me kurango le bala
Which illness I would consider to be deliberate.
me ya lon ko kuranno msafo ko fanan tawnte yale
He just imagines and do things.
atake mira le dron ay koluke
But was this view held by you alone, or was it shared by several members of the cabinet?
fo nyim miro nyi ite ronne ya wa muti sondo mo ko bang fo aliya janya al damal tema bang al tol minister
I would say yes.
men jaar
mbafla ha
Yet,
Because nobody would dare telling him.
adum mo bukanyi jusu be ngosoto puruka balanga bulu
So if he wish, he'll give you your marching orders.
adun yake yake baye
and as such, all of you shut up and put up.
o dalilo kan al be ye dey
ali solta
al sonta
I don't know about orders, but for me, I shut up.
mando lulonde barinte ngande wala fe
And you put up.
no ye dey
Yes.
tende
ha bitung yata
I don't know what you mean by put up.
ka fo put up ka wo
You stayed with the status quo,
bitung wala ituta kolu kono ha
and everybody else stayed with the status quo.
o be tendenta ko nyin kono
Yes.
wonyam
You all resigned to fate.
bitung albe ala kobula kolu lanya bulu
And you failed and betrayed the trust of the Gambian people.
bitung al boyta gambian koliye al nata wala jikotinya
I would not consider it that way.
nteta jubela wonya
Which other way could you say it?
te baje la
Because number
nyaami
one,
follow
I have a family
dimba la bembulu
which are very precious and dear to me.
me yalon ko wolu wolu mfe nyontangol le muti andu idiata nyen wala nyama
Wouldn't you consider your broader family, the bigger population, the Gambian people as a whole? That is your bigger family. That's the most important than one individual family unit. Isn't that the case? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? We should all serve the greater good and not one's selfish ends.
Council, I would disagree.
kansul nte sonna wala
Simply
kadu
because
kansul ye nyina
thousands
foko
of people are always running behind this man.
mo wuli wulo le kabore anoma bari
And what he
kansul
does.
bari kansul ye memfo je kumayata ko inama ne mira be damma kunkiling dimbayala dalilo momenti je wolem gambia be nyanta kilay mari la miro leti kaje ko gambia fanam be mu imari la dimbaya ba kono fanu ringoleti isi kuke mensi ke wo banko mol beye kayro ni yiruwati dina ye mira dimbaya kilindamma
You can now respond.
I am saying I do not agree with that.
mba fala
Given
kon
the
te
fact
sonna
that thousands of people are already running behind this man,
mo wuli
clapping
bulo le
and
kabula
chanting,
nyinno
approving of the things that he does.
andu ikason ala kuolo aka mennuke
There was one rally in Banjul
rali kilin keta banyuno
for the campaign which he lost the elections.
campaigno afota carte aboita carte fayo mento
He was talking about Hesal.
abe diamu kan bala ko indole laje
And he said he used to go to Sedarsa Hall,
ako tumo akakata nun sedal sahol
and he named one of the elders sitting in the crowd, a Banjul elder for that matter.
atata keba kilin tofo banyunu sate fonga keba membe sirinje wulunga yo tofo
And said he is a witness to that.
ako fonga sedo leti okolto
And he turned to him and said, "Is that not true?" And he said, "It's true."
ato ayele mata ayanyati li wo keba la kafo enko ngame mfoto nyante keba fanan ko ha to nyala
Open news.
men keta jama
So
ba
no
kono
counsel
bendula
yourself, you must have heard that during one of his campaigns.
namira ni la moya la campaign lawtu moy bo moy lalu
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But my point is that you should not put yourself on the same level as the rank and file from our towns and villages whose interaction with government is only Benachin, Sabar and T-shirt. You cannot equate yourself with those people. You are the hope of this country. The elite, the most educated. If you people succumb and put up and shut up, then the whole country is mortgaged to him.
ite fambula no la mola mo kensangulu konoteng men ya lon ko ite o makamolu to kato molu men ya lon ko lem jama molu tinna santol to kata wolu lataro ko kono wolem ben kino ka domo anin ka dun kudi malu kono anin ka tishato lu dun ka nganyala bari palasi batiolu nyi makama batiol le molu jikolu ni nyati wotumo woto ni tem nate fang manne fang la palaso jewnya ko atellam nyaton kolti menu nyanta lo law kolu kunna woto sayin ko mo te bayla
Some extent that may be so.
karo do la de muto nyalde
But in this instance,
bari nyin kolu kenyala
I cannot do otherwise because of my family is more precious.
nte ku keno la katuna dimbaya diata nyebake
Mr. Jabate, I disagree. Maybe you should call us, we may have been young and stupid.
Pardon me?
We may have been young and stupid.
Mr. Jabate mfanante sonna wala isa fono mbe fondin ke yarin andum hakilolu fanalu man fanu bake wotumo
But Jame had made certain orders and decisions, sent them to the Ministry of Justice. While we were there, we refused, and nothing happened.
jamme ye kuma kango dolu fole ay ferolu dolu dada ay be parendi ay ki ministre bundala mem marta tilingu nin ki tolu la wotumo ntel bijele da wotumo bari ntel balantale adun kuma na kentolla
How many attorney generals not survive more than 1 year or 2?
attorney general jelle meta men ya lonko ye sanji killing wala sanji fuloke wala katambi wala
They were sacked,
ye baile
and that was it.
danda wolto de
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of being a lawyer. You can work on your own. You can work for yourself.
Provided I can work on my own, provided that I am left on my 2 feet with my freedom.
me yo ko nyinyandi wolem loya ya isido ko ke no ifayene bari sedo ko na tara misali kama mbelo rinsim fulo la tanamanke na ha nsina do ko ke no
14 of them may have been sacked, but they did not wind up in jail or 6 feet deep.
motanni nani soto te ko no menno bay bari imanna wolu dundi kasola de walla ye ke meter woro walla ye ke simfa woro banko koto
My point is,
na nyati li nyamu mende
many of you
mo jama bali kono
wanted these jobs so bad.
ila tanyin do ko la nyasi obe nyama
They wanted the power so bad.
ila fitawo sembo fanana wala nyama nyabe si o nyama
They enjoyed straddling the corridors of power
nyine kadi ye katara wo sembe kolu palaso luto
to the extent that all they wanted was to preserve their jobs.
hanu fa futata tembo to wala nyinti ko ibe la do kolu mara la nyamin katuo palasol to wala na tatare sondo molto.
I would disagree with that statement.
Nde sonna ko fananna.
See, what you fail to understand or realize,
Imanda men fahamu wala kaje.
I will give you my own example.
Mben fango la santiyo dilela.
I was up in the country,
Ntata tamo la santoto.
precisely, at Bansang, Janjambure, and a couple of other towns.
Bansang Janjambure anin sate dolu memita fa sate fulanyong.
I received a call that the president wants to see me.
Yang kumandi ko president la fitanjela.
I came back.
Murutanang.
It was on a Friday.
Abenta jumalungo lefe.
I don't remember the exact date.
Ta lungo hakilo ta lungo fango mutano la bari alungo keta jumolete bari karo lungo memung hakilo maumuta.
I went to the State House.
Data State House.
I was ushered into his office
Yendundi ala office okon.
along with other individuals.
Nimmo dolu.
And he told me that when I was a judge, I had presided over a case.
When ako birate be Georgiala asita kiti le kunna
In which I said,
kito men kono ako
In which I said.
kito kono atefango
he said
Okay, all right, yeah. Proceed.
that one of the accused persons
ko o molu menu ye tu me kilimbe kono
will never ever see the walls of Mile 2.
wonenete mail tu la sansangulu jela
And he referred to my father as Amadou Bansang.
andung ayente fama la kumo foko woto womu Amadou Bansan neti
I knew he was making a guesswork.
andung ngalon ka be miral kumo le fokan nundoro
And he said that he has a write-up,
andung ay nyim fanam foko fen safari ngo babulu
and that was what I did,
andu omu
which
kuleti
he
ntenga men
considered was wrong.
what was wrong
The write-up.
akonde nga fen safe me ya lon ko wo mambete ya mantiling
And he said I wouldn't pray Juma prayer that day.
ako wolunde ate membe diam kanten ko wolunga tete jumo salla
I almost fainted in the chair I was sitting on,
brayo fodomandimbe ketula o sirango kambe sirin damen
because I knew he's capable of doing anything.
kadu ngalon kate si ko kundin kenol
Yeah, but this is the issue.
inam ko
All of you guys
Adol
knew
be.
he was capable of doing anything.
atolbe yalon ne ka se ko kiran linkeno
You supported him in his doing of anything,
ya fasa o kan kula me yalon ko akasu ko kenole
and we all suffered the consequence.
be na na kole dum akole anyin kono
That is what happened, isn't it?
wala keta fawande
No, if you say I kept mute,
ni ko ntengan dele
but to have supported him, I will disagree.
ar ka fo nsonta male ka fasa manson wala
But you implemented his orders.
rikala kangol tamandile
Yes,
Ha.
some of his orders.
dolu
Have you defied any?
fodo bi jele
ni
yemen
bala
so
tambe ba
Yes.
Give us example.
misalo di
One example is the case of
misal kelim bi je wala mu
Mamset Njai.
mam sen jay la koti
Yes.
He insisted that Mamset must go to jail.
ay nyile foko mam set nyanda tala kasola le
But he did.
roket a kele
nganale
Mamset went through the district tribunals
man mam set dun ta kitol le kono man kata nyin tundu kitol ti
up to the level of group tribunal,
anu fo atata futa kito ma memmo jama kito siloti
all of which gave judgment in his favor.
menu be ye kito te nyamengo be ate mam set fasale
And I believe that was also on a Friday.
andu lata la ko nyim fanan benta jumalungo le fe
He was rearrested,
ya sain kam muta
prosecuted
ya kitindi
By
Yep.
which office?
by
By which office? Prosecuted by which office?
office jumala ya
the
kiti
DPP's office.
DPP la office
Under who?
jumala ya
I don't know because I wasn't the minister at the time.
malonde kato tumo mangtara minister yala
I think the case was heard by Justice Nkia.
amira justice nkiya wala kito nyinke
Trade judge or mercenary judge?
I don't know what a mercenary judge is.
malon kitindirla mo machinery kitindirla wala won men ka do ko ke kodo kan
He convicted Mam Said
wala mam said sorong
and sentenced him to, I think it was 3 or 5 years, I'm not sure.
ma aman koy made bare aya sorong sanji saba wala sanji lulu
So, when he called me,
rayen kumandi
Where were you at the time?
wato ite be min tole
at the time of his conviction, I don't remember where I was at the time, but I remember I was Attorney General when he called me.
malon de kito be kala wato men benunda min bari aben te kumandi la wul kolatu mo men auto mon telon attorney general
That was post-conviction.
Yes.
o yatara ala
Man
soron
was
diro
my
tam
two at the time. So he said that he was told that no, I have a different opinion.
ay nyina fanyen ko ye nyina fate yen ko ntela miraro nin kul fatatale kul tata nyami
After his conviction and sentence,
biri yow kitindi foka pare ka soron
I was wondering what should be my answer.
sa en ko ntela jabiro nyanta kala muneti
I kept quiet for a while.
nande fo watinding
He hit the table and said, "Speak up."
ay tablo lipa ko kunyen ko diamu
I said, "As far as I am concerned,
ka ninte damma dammalem
conviction was wrong."
la sorongo oni silo manta
Mr. Jobati,
Yes.
Mr. Jabate
you were Attorney General in 2012.
imunum attorney general de wala minister me marlen luwal ni kitindi ko nyal 2012
Are you sure that this conviction did not happen during your time as Attorney General?
ilata nyinnala ko
I am not
nyimma
sure.
mam set la sorondiro wato amanke la nyaton kay ko ba
So if it did, it means his conviction was under your watch.
ninga tra keta wato ala sorondiro nyin kete la korosiro le koto
I would disagree.
mbeson mteson nawol
Well, if you were Attorney General when he was prosecuted by the Ministry of Justice,
ninga tra itela
his
mun
conviction must have been under your watch.
ninga tra itela mun
But it may
minister
be
do
so,
sangola no
provided I am aware.
ning ayatara mbota kalama
But how would there be such a high-profile prosecution?
sa
And
nyin
you being Attorney General, you are not aware of it. How would you have formed a different opinion?
sa nyin kiti sifa ba me alon ko mansala fawla ba karola ite mun minister do wato le yafo ko mo kala mo do
I will tell you, several of the cases passed through the Attorney General's office, which I am not aware.
mbenyum fole bi kiti jamalu soton tay tambitaning attorney general la office auto bari mamboy kalama de
For a high-profile prosecution, I would imagine that would be, I don't want to say it's negligence of responsibilities, but it would be quite disappointing that the Attorney General would not be aware of a high-profile prosecution.
Yes.
I can understand traffic cases, petty cases, and so forth. We all worked in the ministry, we know how it functions.
kiti
The
member ko nyin
Minister of
sifa
Justice ought to know.
kiti member ko nyin sifa kiti santron ko yeke minister je yafo ko ibo kala muta obe jahalo be waral dalde ma fo ko nyin kiti ningol de me alon ko accident ko le ngana nyongol wolum sonta wala bari kiti bembe ko nyin kiti santron ko men ko mansa fawle ay sulo sota kono ite mo minister yafo mo kala muta tol be ngado ko ministry member
I can confidently tell you that
sinyum foye
several cases passed through the Attorney General's chambers, which I am not aware of.
sinyum bambandi ma ning jiko fangde ko kiti jama soton tay dunta attorney general la office ntama mbulu kalama
This man will call people and assign them cases.
kamolu kumandi la ay kitolu dila
Is that regular?
fo
It's most irregular.
o akakele wati o wati
But isn't that also some of the things that reinforce the dictatorship?
fo fana manke mantra kul ko menar na sembele maralo nyin bambandi abulba
Answer now. Answer now.
I continue.
No. Answer the last question. You said indeed. I want it on the record. Because you answered before the interpretation.
Sorry. Indeed.
ha
It is
to nyalo
irregular.
wote to nyalo wote
But has that ever been protested?
bari fo na mu kulet me alon ko balambaya na kita kula la ba
Who would dare protest?
No, but
male be hanyi la kabalang
if we continuously allow the executive to abuse authority,
nin tentente ka nyaton ko bula be lual tinyala
contravene the law,
be luanyi mfana falinne ba tinyala
and we all keep quiet,
be ngande
we are in fact fueling a dictatorship.
woto hanin kabirin tol fam banko dingol nyimbe be dimbale mara kam pour ka nya sembela ji maralo nyin ka sembo warandi
Do you agree with that?
isanta
indeed.
ha o muto nyal
Perhaps convenient point to take a break.
Yes, indeed. It will resume at 12:30. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.